All right, welcome everybody to episode 4 and week 4 of the Don't Overthink It podcast. My name is Brett James. Got my co-host Chill Takes Darian here with me. How you doing today, man?
Doing pretty good, man. A lot to discuss, a lot to get into. I'm ready for it.
I'm absolutely ready for it today too. And perfect time that we actually did this today. Today is Wednesday, February 2nd. It's Groundhog's Day. We saw the first day of Black History Month. Byron Flores came out and filed a lawsuit versus the New York Giants, the Miami Dolphins, the Denver Broncos, and the NFL as a whole. So we're going to get into that situation as well. We're going to be talking about that text message with Bill Belichick, and Brian Flores that got released. The allegations with Stephen Ross, the owner for the Miami Dolphins, and the incentives in which he was trying to give Brian Flores. We're going to be talking about the Rooney Rule, which was implemented in 2003, and what the NFL can do moving forward to help black and minority coaches in the NFL have a better opportunity at landing these jobs. We're also going to be talking about our Jaguars, unfortunately, which still are yet to have a head coach after 48 days ago. Urban Meyer was let go, and we still have yet to have a new head coach, new GM. Shad Khan has been reluctant to let go of Trent Baalke as of right now, so we're going to get into that as well, Jaguar fans. Then we're going to kind of end this off talking about the NFL championship game, the AFC and NFC championship games that went on this past weekend, and then we'll be talking about the GOAT's retirement. Tom Brady's officially retired from the NFL. And then we'll kind of, at the very end, discuss who about the greatest athlete was of all time in terms of individual awards, things of that nature, because Tom Brady's very much in the realm of that conversation. So we'll kind of end the podcast off there. But first and foremost, let's get into Brian Flores. That's the topic of the day that's been going on all throughout the sports news world as of this morning. And we obviously saw the lawsuit posted by Adam Schefter last night, around 5 p.m. or so. We're going to talk about the text message first with Brian Flores and Bill Belichick and everything that went on. So, Darian, of course, I'd like to hear your thoughts first and foremost, and let's get right into this.
You said a lot, and I don't want to make you forget what you just said, but
that's okay.
Real quick, just something funny that crossed my mind.
What's up?
Do you know what Groundhog's Day is about? Do you understand the concept of it? Because we learned in school when we were younger.
We're in elementary school, and it's like, oh, if he sees his shadow, it means there's 6 more weeks of winter, and if it doesn't, then I don't know the actual meaning behind it. Yeah. Is there something that I'm missing?
I was wondering, what I'm saying, because I've always thought about Groundhog's Day. Is it a legit thing, or just kind of some American folk thing?
I think it's just some American thing, because I think that there's actually a national groundhog they have specific. I think it's in New York.
Yeah, I think so.
They'll pull it out that morning, and then I don't know exactly
what are the results for the groundhog today?
I don't even know. I think someone on Twitter was like, Shad Khan woke up this morning and saw a shadow. That means Trent Baalke's going to be retained for another 6 weeks. I was dead.
Yeah, I saw that. Okay, yeah. So,
what happened?
The prediction was 6 more weeks of winter.
Oh, lovely. Yeah. Just what we need. Actually, the weather's beautiful today in Jacksonville. It was 77 degrees out. I was downtown earlier this afternoon. Beautiful day out in the city.
That's crazy that they still carry on some of these weird traditions.
Yeah, man, it's weird.
Anyways, yeah. Brian Flores.
Let's talk about Brian Flores and this whole situation going on. We'll start with the text messages.
Well, I saw them. And
I have them right here too. If you want to quote anything.
Yeah, I saw. For those who don't know, Bill Belichick incidentally texted a head coaching in his phone by the name of Brian.
Because he was assistant with Brian Dable and Brian Flores at one point.
So basically he says this is prior to Brian Flores even interviewing for the job, right?
Second interview, because he already had it.
Oh, he had his first?
He had his first interview on Zoom, but the second interview had not happened yet, which he was scheduled to do.
Yeah, scheduled to do, but I'm pretty sure Brian Dable already had a second interview, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And they had already made their decision to hire him before they even gave Brian Flores a second interview.
Okay, so hire's already been made, right? So Bill Belichick hits up Brian Flores and says, "Sounds like you landed. Sounds like you have landed. Congrats." And this is Brian Flores saying, "Did you hear anything? Did you hear something I didn't hear?" And then he said, "The Giants, what a surprise." And then Brian says, "I interview on Thursday. I think I have a shot at it." And then Bill Belichick says, "Got it. I hear from the Buffalo, New York Giants, stuff like that. That you got the job, basically." And then Flores is like, hopefully, I really believe I do have, But then I guess it sits in for Flores that, oh shit, he's not talking about me. Are you referring to Dable or myself? And then Belichick knows he messes up, and he says, F this up.
Yep.
I double checked and I misread the text. I think they're naming Dable. I'm sorry about that, BB, and signing off basically. And he said thank you. But anyways, yeah, I mean, like, it doesn't surprise me. It really doesn't, bro, because. And it is a race thing for sure.
It absolutely is.
But this is just how life is in general. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? There's, you know what I'm saying, like, opportunities at your job. You know what I'm saying? You work, you have a manager. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to make a collective hiring, then bring an assistant manager or employee or a higher paying, you know what I'm saying, title on the job. And they're interviewing all these candidates, but they already have someone in mind, right? And they already know who they're going to hire. You know, if they don't even got to talk to them, all you got to do is just pass the interview process. You know, it happens every day in the work life.
Check the box off.
Check the box off. You know what I'm saying? So it is unfair in a lot of ways, and it's unfair in a situation right here because you're already, you know what I'm saying, you already have a head coach in mind. You already know who you're going to hire. You know what I'm saying? So why are you putting Brian Flores through something like this? You know what I'm saying? It's humiliating, right? Like,
it is.
Like, if I'm at my job, right? And it's human thinking, it's human like processing. Like if I know that the job I'm looking for already has a guy in mind, I'm not going to apply for that because I know I don't have a chance. Like it's already set in stone. Like it's just the way. Like it's like I said, the job field works. If anybody out there likes to defend this stuff, it's like, bro, like you'll be hurt or like I said, disappointed or embarrassed that you didn't get a fair shot at the job when in your mind and while everybody else's mind that everybody has a fair opportunity.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Like we're not going to promote from within. We're going to go out there and get our guy. Right. So how do they already have their guy in mind and
already have their decision made up?
Yeah. So, and you didn't even got your second interview yet. He has, of course. I mean, of course now it is not looking at it from the outside looking in. Like, yes, when a guy gets his second interview, you already have him. Okay, this could be the guy. Right. But in our case, the Jaguars, we gave Doug Peterson his
interview.
No, who we give our second interview to? Was it because Doug just got a second interview. It was somebody that got it. I think it was like was it Byron? Someone got their second interview with the Jags.
Byron had 2 interviews. Doug had 2 interviews.
It was Eberflus?
Matt Eberflus, yes, it was.
Yes.
He's the now head coach for the Chicago Bears.
Exactly. Correct. So, in that case in point, Jaguars gave other guys second interviews before Byron, but hire still hasn't been made.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
We're still awaiting.
You're still waiting. So, we still don't know who the guy is. I mean, we have a lot of speculation. We'll get into that a little bit, but still, like, that's unfair to me, man. That's not fair. That's not like how things should go, especially in the NFL when you're hiring a head coach. You know what I'm saying? So, and you know what I'm saying? I'm not mad at Bill.
I'm not mad at Bill either.
Bill should know better. You know what I'm saying?
But he made an accident.
He made an accident for sure. And I saw something that said that he might have leaked it on purpose. He might have did it on purpose.
He might have willingly knew he was texting Brian Flores so that him thinking, oh, maybe I can get something out there.
Yeah.
And this could be a pivotal moment in black minority history in the NFL.
Yeah.
This is the next big thing that we've seen since Colin Kaepernick taking the knee. But this is going to be a monumental moving forward.
But here's the thing, though, all right? Let's see if the NFL is really about their business and what they're talking about. All these, last year we had all these decals of like, you know what I'm saying?
And racism. You know, equality and stuff like that. Panning the end zones, making all these commercials, doing all this and all that. And you got guys like Jay-Z that's in the office with Roger Goodell, you know what I'm saying? Sitting on these things, right? Let's see if there's changes actually being made. Let's see if next year we get a bigger candidate pool of black coaches getting hired. Because it's not going to happen this year. I mean, the only head coaching candidate right there that's out there is going to be Byron or Jim Caldwell.
Todd Bowles, and I'm
that's
pretty
about it right now.
And then Brian Flores, as of right now, it's unfortunate.
They're not going to hire him.
But I don't think they're going to do him dirty like that.
They're not going to blackball him like they did Colin Kaepernick. This is a different situation. But in terms of black and minority power that is not held in the NFL for coaching ranks, this is the next monumental moment in NFL history for blacks and minority coaches.
Sure. I mean, because now you're about to see the Houston Texans. They've interviewed Brian Flores.
Correct.
I think they've already been interviewed twice.
They were close to hiring him, and then they just passed on him. But also, the Texans have racist owners. We've seen this from the past.
Facts. But now, like, you're probably going to see a hold on their hiring because it's going to look real funny in the light if they hire Josh McCown. And you know what I'm saying? Who the hell is Josh McCown? And you got a lot of people saying, I know we're going to continue to go on with this.
We're going with Brian Flores.
And this goes on to the next topic about the whole Stephen Ross situation. A lot of people are saying that, how is he deserving when he's failed at his a job before? Well, before you say anything like that, right? There's plenty of coaches that have failed, been fired, white coaches that have been rehired elsewhere.
Correct.
Right? You have someone like Mike McCarthy, for example, got fired from the Green Bay Packers, had a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yep.
Took a year off to collect his mindset and to get better to the game.
Went straight to Dallas.
Straight to Dallas. A great job. America's team. All right. Not saying the Cowboys are wrong for this. I'm not saying that at all. But he went to America's team, had a bad year because of injuries, but had a good season, but failed again. Right. And he's
another opportunity.
His job is still intact. He's good. You know what I'm saying? People, of course, fans might be asking for his job, but ownership, Jerry Jones, he's not getting rid of him.
No, he's not.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you got guys like, Josh McDaniels, you know what I'm saying, who I think deserves another chance because I think he's grown.
He's in the Raiders now.
Yeah, but he was terrible for the Broncos. Correct. Absolutely terrible. Right? Worse than Brian Flores. He got fired mid-season.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He had a terrible time, had no leadership, had no culture, nothing, right? And you can go on and on about this, but like, I just don't see people saying that, well, okay, he didn't do good at his job, he doesn't deserve a chance or something like that. Why are people crying about that? But no, bro, you see it around the league all the time. The coaching carousel in the league gets recycled all over again.
Correct.
Bro.
And even guys that aren't in the NFL, a guy like Cliff Kingsbury, who literally got his contract bought out.
Yeah.
What was it, Texas Tech, I believe?
Yeah.
Got his contract bought out.
Yeah.
The Cardinals fired, I can't even remember who it was off the top of my head, and they brought in Cliff Kingsbury and gave him a fat contract. He never even coached as a head coach in the NFL. Yeah. And we don't see blacks and minorities given those kinds of opportunities to just come in and take over a franchise like that.
Yeah.
And that is an issue. Yeah. And I want to say something about something you had kind of hit on earlier about how diminishing and defeating it can feel that, like, he knows. Well, how about this? He thought he had a legitimate chance to land his job. And the message says, as I quote from Brian Flores, "Did you hear something I didn't hear? I interview on Thursday. I think I have a shot at it." When deep down, the New York Giants, who've never had a black head coach in their entire franchise's history, already were going to hire Brian Dable no matter how great Brian Flores did in an interview. And he was there just to check off a box for the Rooney Rule. That was it, plain and simple.
Yeah.
And that is demoralizing to anybody to know that they are there just for the color of their skin. And I also want to say is that I know that we're a couple minutes in talking about this Brian Flores situation, and we are two young men of color, of skin. We're both minorities in this society. We see and feel and hear a lot of situations in which are talked about, and I know these situations aren't fun to talk about. Racism and discrimination is not fun to talk about, but you have to be, especially in today's society, in our generation, be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Talking about things that you don't want to talk about, and being open-minded to others' experiences, because this is something I've most certainly dealt with in my life through family, through my personal interactions in society. I'm sure you've dealt with some kinds of issues, and people that want to deny it, it's literally right in front of your face 24/7, but also you see it at the national level with a well-respected league in the NFL, which was one of the biggest markets in America. And there's still ongoing issues about this to this day. In 2019, they implemented the Rooney Rule, which we'll get into in just a second. Or, excuse me, 2003, but it's been 19 years, since that rule's been intact. There was 3 black head coaches in the NFL in 2003. There is one. There is a regression. There has been, I think, there was 8 head coaching opportunities this offseason, and only, I think, 4 or 5 of them have been filled. Not a single one has been African American as of yet. We have 2 minority owners in the NFL, and Jacksonville has one of them. The Buffalo Bills have another, and an Asian American woman. There is an underlying issue with this. And I want to get on to Stephen Ross now when we transition into this Brian Flores, the owner for the Miami Dolphins. Technically, everything is word of mouth right now from Brian Flores and Stephen Ross, who I don't think has released a statement yet to my knowledge. He was incentivizing that in 2019, when Brian Flores first took over this team after coming over from the New England Patriots, being Bill Belichick's assistant. I will give you $100,000 for every loss you get so that they can acquire a better draft pick. At the time, this was one of the worst teams in the NFL. This was going to be one of the worst teams in NFL history. But that locker room and those players stuck with Brian Flores because he's a man of character and dignity. And he's not going to diminish his character and his value and his career for $100,000 every week to please a guy like Stephen Ross because he wants to get a better draft pick. They finished off the season 5-11. They beat Tom Brady the last week of the season in Foxborough, and they upset them so that they can't get a first-round bye. They go lose to the Tennessee Titans the first game in the playoffs. That locker room stuck with Brian Flores. Brian Flores is a damn good man, character, and coach. And then he got them to 10 wins the following season. They went and got 9 wins the following season this year. He is a damn good coach. That's the first time the Miami Dolphins organization has had 2 back-to-back winning seasons, I think in, I want to say 11 or 18 years. I can't remember the number. It's been a very long time. And he gets fired. That is not happening to a white coach. He came in and changed a culture and a franchise. And we were just as shocked on our very first podcast episode when he got fired. We went off on that. And now with this, Stephen Ross is trying to get him to tank. And that is an underlying issue with the NFL. Guys aren't putting their bodies, coaches aren't putting their careers on the line to go and lose games. You are diminishing the integrity of competitive football. And that's where I'm at with it. If that's true, which I don't discredit Brian Flores, I believe him, and I believe Stephen Ross would do something like that. He needs to go. He shouldn't own an NFL team anymore, and he should be gone. That's where I'm at with that. I'd like to hear your thoughts.
That's a little tough, right? And you said a lot of great things, and I believe you 100%. And I everything you said was correct.
Thank you.
But taken from a fan's perspective and how to change an organization, tanking is not like isn't unheard of, right? We all know a lot of teams tank. Our team tanked.
Yes,
you know
to get Trevor Lawrence.
The Bengals tanked, right? It was a tanking race. I mean, we remember the Dolphins trading away valuable guys like Minka,
Laramie Tunsil.
Who else traded away?
Receiver, I think Fuller at the time. Or no,
it wasn't Fuller. It was regardless of the fact they traded away some young pieces to get first round picks.
Correct.
And other draft picks because we knew that they were gearing up for the tank, and everybody knew the Dolphins were tanking, right?
Yep.
So yes, they did went along the way because at the same time in the locker room, you don't want to build a losing culture.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? It's hard to break a losing culture. And I'm pretty sure Brian Flores was like, okay, well shit, like, you know, you guys want Joe Burrow, but there's other quarterbacks out there, right? Yeah. Justin Herbert was on the board, right?
Yep.
You still drafted Tua over him. You drafted a quarterback that Brian Flores never wanted.
I was about to say Brian wanted Justin.
Yeah, and regards to the fact we didn't know Justin Herbert would be this good.
Nobody did.
That, right? Because if you follow college football, you would have knew that he was one of the best quarterbacks to come out in that class, right? And even if he wasn't that good, you knew you would rather take a healthy Justin Herbert than a banged up, damaged Tua because he just came off of hip surgery.
Yeah.
So he knew Tua would not be playing at all. So first of all, in this the grand scheme of things, it was a dumb draft pick, right? You tanked for the wrong quarterback. Essentially, whatever. You had a chance to redeem yourself, and even if you were paying him,
but that's on Greer. That's on the general manager. That's not on Brian Flores.
Yeah, it's not on Brian Flores. Yeah, it's not. It's on the owner. It's on the owner, the GM, whatever. Even if you were paying Brian Flores to lose and stuff like that, okay, that's understandable. Because the coaches are teams out there to tank, but he had an opportunity to draft the quarterback. You know what I'm saying, behind Burrow, which was Justin Herbert. He was healthy and great. You know what I'm saying? Condition. He had a good enough tape to go out there to be, you know, he would have been the guy. He would have been probably the quarterback 2 off the board the previous year when Kyler Murray came out, because we all know damn well he would have been better than he was a better prospect than Daniel Jones and Haskins and whoever else got drafted that year, but Drew Lock too. But I mean, I don't get that, and I think Stephen Ross should definitely be. I wouldn't say he should be fired for that, but like you really gotta look at him as an owner. Like, okay, yeah, we might not fire you for this, but we gotta fire you for your actions because you did terrible at scouting. You and the GM, like, what were y'all doing? You know what I'm saying? Like,
so let's just assume for a second, because I believe Brian Flores about the whole $100,000.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, I think it happens. It happens.
Let's also question him on the fact that why did you fire Brian in the first place? Because you said that there were problems with the front office and Brian Flores was having disagreements because he didn't get his quarterback, but also there was just probably other, underlying issues that were going on between management and Brian Flores. But nonetheless, he changed your team around. Yeah. Even though you wanted to lose, you got to look at a guy and an owner who is damaging the integrity of competitive football. What player, especially Xavier Howard, the way he came out last year and posted that statement, what top player, as great as the luxury of living in Miami is and playing in Florida and in the no state income tax, Who wants to play for a guy like that?
Yeah.
With all of this coming out.
Yeah.
That is damaging to the sport of football. If this is true and they find evidence on this, he needs to go in my eyes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, if
it's true. Only if it's true.
Yeah. Another thing, too, you mentioned that, right? Because, like, and you think you see something like this for this year from the Texans, right? Okay. You have a coach like Brian Flores, right? He has coming into his first year with the Miami Dolphins. You're looking at this guy he can be the dude for real. This is a good hire. All right. You're not in a position to win. We know you're not going to win.
Yeah,
we know you're not going to win.
Correct.
You trade away all your assets. First of all, Joe Burrow wasn't Joe Burrow yet. So you don't know who you tanking for. You're already probably tanking for like someone like Jake Fromm, who was quarterback one prior to the season. Or Tua, yeah. So you're tanking for one of these guys, right?
Always tank for Tua.
Yeah, always tank for Tua, right? But, you know, season went on, of course, you know what I'm saying? You get, regardless of the fact, right?
Yeah.
So you're set up to lose, right?
Which only happens to black coaches.
Well, it happens to other coaches as well. But yes, like we saw this year with Cully. Yeah, majority. Yeah. We saw with Cully this year. He was set up to lose.
Yes.
He
still won 4 games.
He had Deshaun Watson, a team that had to sign a bunch of guys on veteran minimums.
Rex Burkhead, Mark Ingram.
I mean, that team was garbage.
Yeah.
But every Sunday they went out there and competed. Yes, some games they got blown out against the Bills early in the year, but they had some good teams. They beat the Chargers.
Yep.
One of the reasons, Tennessee. One of the main reasons why the Chargers didn't make it to the playoffs because they lost a conference game.
Twice.
They beat us twice.
Yep.
Beat our ass twice.
Twice, yes. And I was there in Houston too. So
yeah,
I'm the clown here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like it's just like they put out a respectable, well-coached 4-win team.
Correct.
Right?
Very well respected.
And you see guys like that, he gets fired, right? But guys like, what's the guy up in there in Detroit?
Dan Campbell.
And I'm not trying to point fingers at, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to blame the Lions for this, bro. Yeah. But you just see, like, he came into a terrible situation. He was not good this year. Yeah. But same thing, that team showed fight.
They were competitive every single week.
Every single week they came out, they beat the cart.
That was that Dolphins team in 2019 with Flores.
Bro, yes. Even though they won like 3 games, we all thought the Lions would be like winless this year.
Yeah. And their record does not indicate how much fire and competitive that Lions team fought for this year.
And Campbell ain't going nowhere.
No, Campbell's there to stay for a long time.
Now, of course, David Culley might not have been the guy to hire, but, I mean, do you think Josh McCown can do a better... Not Josh McDaniels. Josh McCown can do a better job than David Culley did? You know what I'm saying? David Culley made nothing out of something with Davis Mills.
Yeah.
Davis Mills looked like a...
3rd round pick, 67 overall.
Their first draft pick in the 2021 draft... They got a quarterback in Davis Mills who no one thought would be the guy. They thought Tyrod Taylor would carry them out. He gets hurt.
One of the best quarterback rookie seasons this year.
Yes, and you have, as of right now, a potential franchise guy, kind of like a Gardner Minshew type. You know what I'm saying? Maybe like, okay.
Give him another year and see what he's got.
Yeah, and if he's bad, then okay. But why not let David Culley go through that experience, right?
Exactly.
I don't get it.
You're already on a bad team.
Yes.
But more times than not, a black coach getting put into a situation is expected to fail, expected to be put into a situation where he can't be successful.
Bro, if anybody has the track record that Brian Flores has, man, they'll call him like one of the next great head coaches in the NFL.
Exactly.
Dog. I mean, yes, he didn't rub people the right way. Who gives a damn, bro?
He's
like,
winning games.
You think Bill Belichick, like I said, I'm comparing, like, you know what I'm saying?
All-time greats,
but you think Bill Belichick was rubbing people the right way and for the Browns when he first started out? You know what I'm saying? That's why he didn't last, you know what I'm saying? But, of course, he got the opportunities because he had the winning mindset. He knew, like, okay, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're better than this. Of course, we're going to tank like that. But the way the puzzle would align, you had a chance to get the quarterback that was better than Tua. So, like, I just don't get it, dog. I really don't. Then Miami Dolphin fans are possibly about to hire, you know, another head coach, maybe someone like Mike McDaniel. But Mike McDaniel's only been calling plays for 1 year for the 49ers.
I want to say this.
He's been handheld by Kyle Shanahan. Now, of course, he made some good calls. Mm-hmm. He's had some good players. You know what I'm saying? He's probably
hire people from the McVay, the Shanahan tree. I get it, the Belichick tree.
Yeah.
But what did you just say? You just said right before they were going to hire someone. You just said something. I was going to make a point out of it.
Nah, man, I said a lot. I forgot.
No, but like just before you said McDaniels.
Man.
Okay, point is, I can't recall, but I mean...
I wish we can listen back, but
it's okay. Let's go to the Rooney Rule, and then maybe it'll come back.
For sure, yeah.
as I stated earlier, 2003, the Rooney Rule, which was implemented by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And guess who has the only black head coach? The Rooney family, I should say, the Rooneys, implemented the Rooney Rule to help black and minority coaches. The only black head coach in the NFL is Mike Tomlin for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who's never had a losing season in his NFL tenure, which speaks volume.
Yeah.
I think our entire childhood and time of watching football. Can you remember another coach that was coaching Pittsburgh that wasn't Mike Tomlin? I can't.
You got what you call it?
Even before Tom, I remember
Bill Coward.
Okay, I don't even remember.
That might have been before you a little bit. I remember maybe the Bill Coward won a championship his last year.
Okay, well, I remember. All I remember is watching Big Ben, San Antonio Holmes, Troy Polamalu, James Harrison. That was my early impressions of the Steelers. Yeah. And the Rooney Rule has failed. Right? It is 9 times out of 10 they're just to check off a box. Say, hey, we quote unquote interviewed an African American head coach, a minority head coach. But we already have our decision made up. And like I said, there's been, I think, 7 or 8 head coaching opportunities that were open this offseason. Jacksonville's one of them. And we saw some other head coaching jobs get filled. None of them have been African American. If you line up all 64, we're just assuming that all head coaching vacancies are filled. All 64 head coaches and GMs in the picture, you will maybe point out like 3-4 African Americans in there. We saw the Bears and the Vikings hire black GMs. Good for them. Obviously Mike Tomlin, we said, and then that's really it. You know, like I could be missing. It's kind of like a. Actually, the Dolphins GM Greer is black too, but I'm saying it's so few and far in between. Very few and far in between because. I just want to leave it there. I just want you to talk about maybe what the NFL can do or talk about some kind of progression.
I just don't. I mean, you really got to just take off your bias cap, your bias glasses, and really look at it from like just the grand scheme of things, bro. I mean, like when these coaches are going into the interview process, man, they're not picking the best candidate, in my opinion. That's why so many franchises fail. You know, so I'm not saying the whole league needs to be black. I'm not saying that at all. But like, you bring in more familiar faces for these these teams that have, you know what I'm saying, majority of the roster filled out by African American. 70%
of the NFL is black.
So like you bring in, you know what I'm saying, familiarity, you know what I'm saying, a connection, established culture, you know what I'm saying, winning, fun, you know what I'm saying, like, just like, I mean, of course, like, you know what I'm saying, there's nothing wrong with white coaches, but I'm just saying in general, like, bro, like, you're not hiring the best candidates. Like, you're really hiring people that look like you, like your counterpart, your peers. Because, you know what I'm saying? There's no point. There's no reason, in my opinion, that Eberflus, whatever his name is, and no disrespect to him, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to him for getting a head coaching job opportunity. But the interview guys like Brian Flores, of course, and Eric Bieniemy, and Byron Leftwich, how does Eberflus get a better, he gets a job before them when we all know Eric Bieniemy's been to 2 Super Bowls, right? He's coached the MVP. 4 straight AFC championships. He is the sole reason why the Chiefs, not a sole reason, but he's a big part of the Chiefs' success on offense.
Correct.
And we remember last year, their passing game coordinator was getting more love than him.
Yep.
Right? So it's kind of like, bro, what is this? Like, you see guys like, I don't see how he gets a job before him. I don't see how Byron Leftwich, you know what I'm saying, Super Bowl champion as well, head coach, 2-time, easy, I wouldn't say 2-time, but he's been to the playoffs consecutive years. He's worked with quarterbacks other than Tom Brady, Carson Palmer. He's had Jameis Winston, who had 30 for 30 in his touchdown or interceptions, but still, Jameis threw for over 5,000 yards, 30 plus touchdowns. He's coached guys like Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. His track record is amazing.
Yeah.
Why can't he get opportunity? Then you have guys like, who else I said? Brian Flores, of course. I mean, like, we all know what he's done. So, don't get me wrong. I feel like the Chicago Bears did due diligence. They got, you know what I'm saying, polls, the black GM. But, like, I don't see how you can bring in someone like Byron Leftwich or Eric Bieniemy who can be, like, you have a black quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
I think those guys are culture builders,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't get the direction. But, you know, maybe Eberflus can be the future. But I'm just saying, like...
And I go with like a guy like Nate Hackett too, right? Nathaniel Hackett, obviously, now the head coach for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
He was the OC in Green Bay. Obviously, he's a lot of continuity and chemistry with the guy like Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers speaks highly of him. He actually got our Jaguars to the 2018 AFC Championship game, our 2017 year, where we had
He's more deserving than Eberflus,
Correct. But even then, Nate Hackett's resume doesn't still match up to the caliber of a guy like a Byron Leftwich and Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah.
And the only way I can see a team like John Elway and any ownership that's high up with the Denver Broncos saying, let's just go get Nate Hackett, outside of, because he's deserving, he's been around the league, he's done his things, he helped our Jaguars, is if we go and get this guy because he does have a solid resume, now we got a better chance of getting Aaron Rodgers. If that's the thinking, I'm all for it.
Yeah, for sure.
But to really not even give a guy like Byron and Bieniemy, especially those two guys, Brian Flores, a real legitimate chance in Denver, I mean, you've got to be kidding me. But I understand the whole Aaron Rodgers perspective. That's all. That could be a completely separate topic within itself. But definitely the Eberflus one was a big question mark. Cliff Kingsbury a couple years ago was a big question mark because even though he's done a great job since he's been there, and I'm not denying that, I'm saying a black coach isn't getting an opportunity where his contract's being bought out. Hey, bro, we're going to pay you all of this money to come and be a head coach for a team, and you're going to completely flip this franchise around. That doesn't happen to a black coach. That doesn't.
Let me give you what's a black and a college coach out there? I'm trying to think. All right, I got
Deion Sanders.
Oh, I'm talking about like a Power 5 one.
Charlie Strong at one point.
Charlie Strong. I'm talking about a current one. Mel Tucker, Michigan State. Michigan State University, right? If Mel Tucker was trash at Michigan State, but somehow, some way, he coached up someone like
say top draft pick, like let's say Joe Burrow, like at one point.
I don't even say that. I want to say someone like, because that's kind of reason
Kyle
why.
Trask?
Yes, there you go. No, I would say Kyle Trask. I gotta say someone like because that's the reason why someone like Cliff Kingsbury got the job, because of the whole Patrick Mahomes situation.
Right.
They say, okay, you did.
Yeah, you did good with Patrick Mahomes.
So let's say that I'm trying to think of a guy. Okay, Justin Herbert, right? Let's say if Mel Tucker coached Justin Herbert, but he was bad, but Justin Herbert still broke records, but they didn't have a winning record. They were
a 4-win team.
He's on his way getting fired.
Yeah. Right?
From Michigan State. There's no chance in hell that Justin Herbert has his crazy year in the league. He goes to the NFL. He has an MVP, stuff like that. There's no way in hell his coach that's on the way out of his current school is going to get hired to the NFL. Yeah. That's not happening. It's not happening, bro.
The last point I want to make about this African American, Brian Flores, minority,
and all of this stuff. One more thing. And
I want you to say whatever. I just want to make one last.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, I remember.
My last thing I kind of want to end off when we talk about that is. This is just America. I'm not even just stating the NFL. Mm-hmm. When a minority or an African American is getting interviewed for any kind of job, especially if it's for a power job, right, where you have authority over your employers, they are looking for a reason not to hire you. They're looking for an excuse. They're looking for something, whether it's a part of your appearance.
That's a great point. I got something to say about that too.
But versus Caucasian white males. They're looking for a reason to hire you. Facts. They're finding any kind of incentive in any positive. But when it comes to minorities and black people especially, they are looking for a reason not to hire you.
Yes.
And be like, oh, well, he's got this.
Yeah.
That's the last thing I want to end it on.
That's crazy. And I'm gonna say two more things. The year Cliff Kingsbury got hired, trust me, like I said,
I think it was 2019.
2019, I think Kyler Murray is really saving his job, because I think he should. If it wasn't for this year, he would have been probably getting fired.
Well, that's why they went higher, because he knew he wanted Kyler Murray.
Yeah. So
the number one pick.
The guy they fired to get Cliff Kingsbury was African American head coach.
I couldn't remember his name.
I forgot his name too. I'm gonna look it up here soon. If you look it up right now, but they fired him at the one season.
I do remember that. I just couldn't remember his name.
One season, dog. I mean. You could have probably, like, of course, Cliff Kingsbury had the intentions to draft someone like Kyler Murray, to give away their whole draft capital, to get rid of Josh Rosen already, and to go for someone like Murray. But you don't think, you know what I'm saying, like, the head coach they had before?
Steve Wilkes. You
don't think Steve Wilkes would have been able to, like, you know what I'm saying, like, do that as well now? I'll start looking in. I'm not an Arizona fan. I'm not plugged in. I'm not sure about that whole organization. And I don't want to feel like I'm just throwing out BS, but, like, it just looks funny in the light, dog. It really does. And also what you said about how, like, black coaches, they're always looking for the wrong in them, trying to find something wrong.
They're trying to look for something wrong with these.
I remember last year when Eric Bieniemy was, you know what I'm saying, getting interviews and stuff like that. I remember something came out about, like, what he did at Colorado years ago. Then he got caught up in some type of, like, I don't want to misquote.
Yeah.
Let me see, but it was something.
I don't know what kind of legal issues Cliff could have possibly gotten. I'm not aware.
And it was Eric Bieniemy.
Oh, was it Bieniemy?
Yes, it was Eric Bieniemy.
I mean, wasn't he a running back? I think he was a former running back in the NFL
yes.
at one point.
Let's see. Back in Colorado in 1988, and this was as a player, was arrested along with teammate following a bar fight. He pleaded no contest to disorderly conduct and fighting in public and stuff like that. Also, he got a ticket. A lot of DUI stuff like that.
Yeah.
Also was arrested for harassing a female parking attendant back in '93, and also 01 was arrested for driving under the influence. Was docked at a month's pay, whatever like that. Right. Of course, bad things he did. Okay, I'm pretty sure he's written all his wrongs, stuff like that. Those are like years.
30
ago.
years removed.
30 years
he's
ago.
probably a completely different man who's grown from his mistakes.
This is you're looking at he's 52 years old, so he's probably in his 30s, right? This is still
maybe early 20s,
late 20s.
Yeah,
I mean, it's still a dude that's with an undeveloped brain still. You know what I'm saying? Like still processing stuff as a man. But you see stuff like that, and that came up last year during this, like, there's a reason why, because he has a lot of dirt behind him.
Correct him.
But there's plenty of coaches out there that have dirt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
dude, I guarantee you, let's put it like this. There are a lot of owners that feel a certain way. These old, rich, white, 30 owners that are in the NFL. I'm not saying all of them. Yeah. But there's probably a good amount of them that feel a certain way towards African Americans. They're not going to come out and publicly say it, but they might get caught. Yeah. The Texans one obviously slipped up. But there's a lot of them that feel a certain way. They're not going to come out and say it, but they might slip up here or there. Mm-hmm. They've probably said some really bad stuff in the past, but that stuff always gets overlooked when it comes to...
Yeah. I mean, Texans owner came out and said that they're inmates. His team, his players are acting like inmates in a prison. But anyways, when it comes to the Rooney Rule, we haven't really said like if they should fix it, what would they do to fix it. I'm not sure how they would do to fix it. I mean, that's not my job. I'm a fan. Yeah. I have no partake in that. It comes down to like guys like Jay-Z and other executives in the office behind Rodgers Goodell. Something's got to happen. But at the same time, in my opinion, I feel like if it's going to keep being like this, just abolish it. Get rid of it. There's no point in it. Yeah. You're wasting people's time. Like, what's the point of, like, the numbers behind it, bro? Like, you literally have to... It's
been a regression.
Yeah, you have to have a minority head coach in your pool, right? You have to do your due diligence, of course, like that, right? And if you don't, I think you get dots from draft picks or something like that, right? But I wonder what the numbers are behind that since 03 when the rule got established, how many black coaches have been hired since then compared to white head coaches. I wonder what the number is. We don't have the numbers pulled up. I don't know how you can pull it up. I'm really interested to see what the numbers are, because if it feels like the rule like it is not doing anything, man, it's just ridiculous. But it's unfortunate for Brian Flores. He has to go through this. Hopefully the NFL is more progressive than it was like X amount of years ago when Colin Kaepernick did his thing. Hopefully he gets another job. I think he will. I don't think
Flores eventually will, because this is not the same magnitude that would like upset.
And I don't think they're going to just, with so much things going on, with so much things happening like within the last few years, I don't think they're going to openly just blackball the head coach. I mean, that would be like a slap in the face to everything they did last year. Yeah. And I know there's people out there that say like, I don't care about this and all that, but like it's a business at the end of the day, and the NFL is not going to like backtrack everything they did in the past. Like you actually see, they're trying to be more progressive. So hopefully this changes that. And also, and I wanted to say this real quick, I don't know why it's so hard, because you see in the NBA there's black coaches everywhere.
Hella black coaches.
I mean,
Monty Williams, Jamal Mosley in Orlando.
Bro, it's Dwayne Casey in Detroit.
Yes.
I mean,
he did a phenomenal
Jason
job
Kidd in the Mavericks. You know what I'm saying? Like
Jason Kidd's white though.
He's black. He's mixed.
He is?
Yeah, Jason Kidd's mixed.
Have I been living my whole life thinking Jason Kidd was a white guy?
He's African American.
No way.
Yeah.
My whole life.
He's just very, very yellow.
Jason Kidd is.
Yeah, he's African American.
I really thought Jason Kidd was just a great.
I swear, unless I'm tripping, dog. Like, I've seen it plenty of times. He's.
I know. I believe
he used to have a throw and all.
I every time I watched Jason Kidd growing up, like I just thought he was white. I just never heard he was African American.
But guys like him have gotten chances. You know what I'm saying? He's always been a solid head coach.
A black head coach isn't going to get an opportunity that Steve Nash got. Steve Nash was never a coach on any level, even though he's an all-time great point guard, and got an automatic got the Brooklyn Nets job.
His mother or his father, Steve, was African American. His mother was Irish American. Yeah,
I will be damned. Oh, you learn something new every day. I did not know.
So the NBA is is so good at this. College basketball is so good at this, but it's always football. College football and NFL, there's not enough black coaches.
Especially in the South. I mean, think about it. Like, the SEC always has to go through, and let's transition into the Jags in a second. But
yeah, for sure, yeah.
Especially with teams opting out due to COVID in 2020. It was either 2020 or 2021.
Yeah.
Once it was 2020 during the college season. We saw a lot of Division I schools in the Pac-12, Big Ten, like, they dropped out because of COVID. But that wasn't going to happen in the SEC because you're playing in the South.
Yeah.
Playing in states like South Carolina.
Football's
the ACC. Football is football down here in the South. And, those folks and those boys, they don't care about nothing. And especially, I'm not justifying all of them. I'm not, you know what I'm trying to say, and I'm not even going to say it, but you know what I'm saying.
It's a moneymaker down here. But regardless of the fact, like, I don't see how the NBA and college basketball can do this so easily, and the NFL and college football are just, like, still behind. But that's just...
The NFL is quote-unquote not racist, but, we all understand the issue.
They
definitely got some racist tendencies.
They got some racist tendencies.
And it's really the owners.
It goes from... Yeah, this is my last thing. It goes from coaches, it goes to quarterbacks. I mean, we're just now seeing a handful of black quarterbacks only because...
Dominating the league.
Yeah, we're just now seeing that.
Yeah.
And they still try to discredit them. Yeah. Like guys like Lamar Jackson, and now people are saying that Patrick Mahomes does too much. Or he's not black enough. It's like Russell Wilson, stuff like that, bro. Like, it just... No. But anyways, yeah.
Yeah, but...
Crazy stuff,
I mean,
man.
only if there was an NFL owner who was a minority who could help progressive change.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. I wonder who that could be, Shad Khan.
Yeah.
Do your damn job correctly. All right. Speaking of Shad Khan, let's transition into our pitiful Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, my goodness.
We're going to be talking about Byron Leftwich and Adrian Wilson, an executive for the Arizona Cardinals right now, who's rumored, if Byron gets to be the head coach, which I think a lot of us are still holding out on, that can be the case. Then we'll kind of briefly talk about Trent Baalke and Shad Khan continuously giving him this opportunity. But I did just get word on Twitter at 3:03 p.m.
What happened?
By John Reed. Jaguars scouts are at the Senior Bowl currently, not GM Trent Baalke.
I wouldn't put too much into that, though.
I wouldn't either, but the thing is, when we talk about the Jags, obviously, there was the clown movement. Then this whole offseason, it was fire Baalke, and to this day, everything is still fire Trent Baalke. The national media, former players are coming out and saying, former players for the Jaguars are still coming out and saying, why does Trent Baalke still have a job? His track record speaks for itself. He's been an impediment on the Jaguars' success moving forward and will be. He's not helping, right? And that's an issue. And Shad Khan, from what it appears like, and I actually believe this because it's the only thing that would currently make sense, is Shad Khan's giving Trent an opportunity to say, hey, because the rumors have already came out that Shad and his son Tony both want Byron Leftwich and Adrian Wilson, which is what I would say a huge consensus of our fan base wants, including myself, right? Is that they're going to give Trent this opportunity to say, hey, look, most of these head coaching candidates have not came out and even interviewed for the Jags because you're here, or they've said, I'm not going to work with you, a.k.a. Byron Leftwich and a lot of head coaches. So unless you find a pairing that's going to be better than Byron and Adrian Wilson, which good luck finding one, you can have your job until then. And if you can't do that, you're gone. That's essentially what's been going on these last couple of weeks. I think we're going to get some news in these next 2 to 3 days. I actually predicted tomorrow, but I think by this weekend, Baalke's going to officially be out. I feel it. Shad's tired of it. He wants to get the head coach in here. It's been 48 days since we fired Urban Meyer. I believe Byron Leftwich and Adrian Wilson are coming to Jacksonville. I know there was the reports of Rich Spielman, former Vikings GM, very, very great GM, got interviewed as well this past weekend alongside Doug Peterson with his second interview. Vic Fangio got interviewed, but I believe that's for a coordinator job. Same thing.
Which is dumb.
Correct, I agree. Same thing with Rich Pasala, interim head coach for the Vegas Raiders. He obviously didn't get the job. Josh McDaniels did. Jaguars, this has been such a stressful, emotional, hectic, annoying week to be a Jags fan. Jags Twitter's been going effing crazy the last 2 weeks. I am a part of it, and it's crazy. I still believe, and I'm here to say still, Byron Leftwich and Adrian Wilson will be in the Jacksonville Jaguars, but nothing's announced yet. Nothing's official yet. Everything is still speculation. That is just my personal belief on it. Darian, floor is yours.
This is bad, embarrassing, dog. I'm tired of talking about it. I'm drained from talking about it. As you can see, like, my whole mood has just changed now because this team just makes me so mad. I said it was dumb, not because of the Vic Fangio being a head coach, coordinator. I think it's dumb to even interview for coordinator positions when you don't have a head coach in place, right? You know what I'm saying? So I think that's dumb. But this whole team is ass backwards. This whole franchise is, and it's embarrassing, bro. Like, I get Shad doing this, but why do this? This makes no sense.
He wants them, and the whole fan base does.
Bro, like, why? You're the owner at the end of the day, bro. What you say goes. You know what I'm saying? If you feel that Byron and Adrian are the guys for the job, fuck what Balky says.
Yep.
Who cares?
Look at his track.
It's your team. Like I get the only silver lining for this whole Balky situation is that he didn't get a fair shot because Urban messed everything up. Well, in reality, you could really blame Balky for this as well because they were the two. It takes two to tango. I mean, like, it ain't like
Urban hired himself.
Yeah, it ain't like her. Yeah. I mean, like, it wasn't like Urban hired himself. You guys came in as a duo. We all knew if Urban got hired, Balky would be retained and stay. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like Urban made all these draft picks with a lot of Balky. Now, of course, Balky did make some good draft picks, and I guess it's another silver lining. But also, the counter to that is, look who we brought in for agency. It was a dumpster fire, bro. We had the most money to spend cap.
We didn't spend like any of it.
You and Urban's excuse was, and I remember this verbatim, is like, oh, it's because of COVID. We didn't get
we didn't get the in-person interviews.
Yeah, no one did. Yeah, no one did, bro. Did. So just stuff like that happened over the summer, bro. Like, there's no, like, look at his track record, bro. I mean, like, his 2014 8-8 fired Jim Harbaugh, who had a good career at Michigan.
Took him to the Super Bowl.
Took him to the Super Bowl, had Colin Kaepernick as his quarterback, Alex Smith, did some good things with them, had a good 10-year at Michigan. Now he's heading back to the NFL, right? So it wasn't his fault. You fired Jim Tusula, I don't know who that is, but he went 5-11. Then you fired Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly was terrible, but you hired him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Went 2-14. You fired Doug Marrone, which I think was an affair.
You had to do.
You had to do, but looking back on it,
you still fired somebody,
and you should have kept him because he would have done a way better job than Urban Meyer did.
But he went to Alabama.
Yeah. So, and then you fired Urban Meyer mid-season, which was a dumpster fire from. But I'll give you that. You didn't make that hire. I'm pretty sure Shad made that hire.
Shad wanted Urban.
So, and I get why Shad might be a little hesitant because he's fucked up. You know, he's made a lot of bad football decisions. And I get that, but at the same time, bro, like,
here's the fan base.
Here's the fan base, and like another thing too, you heard what happened in the end of the season. I don't think, you know what I'm saying, like, as a businessman, you don't want to give the media and public satisfaction that you messed up, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You want to hold out. It's kind of like you know what I'm saying, what do you call it?
Your
ego, or the smartest man in the room syndrome. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be wrong, but at the same time, bro, like, you see what's going on with the search. It's 48 days, and you got to be one of the most patient people amongst that walk this earth.
Him and Jerry Jones, I swear to God, the most patient.
I think he's more patient than Jerry Jones, bro, because there's no way in hell you let 48 days go by like this. In the offseason, there's 3 head coaches already been hired at jobs. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you'll probably 4. I mean, of course, you had your eyes on Eberflus with Balky. That was supposed to be a pairing, but Eberflus took the better opportunity as of right now. I don't blame him either. Hackett took the better opportunity as well with Denver.
McDaniels to the Raiders.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, even though McDaniels never even made an attempt to. There's another thing too. A lot of candidates didn't want to interview with Balky. Didn't even put an application because they knew what was happening. So Shad is witnessing this. You see what's going on, bro, and it's embarrassing, man. Like, I mean, I know you don't care about what people think. You know what I'm saying? As you can see, I guess it's what you're
to an extent. That's okay.
That's okay with you because we've been getting blasted. We've been getting humiliated this last month and a half, right?
National media's gone off on us.
We've never been taught like this before in my fanhood of being a Jaguars, unless that outside of the 2017 season.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. This is like one of the most embarrassing things that we've ever gone. This is like Cleveland Brown.
Yeah,
embarrassing. Like, to the point that the NFL might have to step in and tell you, like, hey, dude,
get it together.
What the hell are you doing? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you need help? Like, do you need help during this process? Like, media is telling you this. Your peers
the
coaches,
entire fan base. You made national headlines. National headlines.
Everybody knows that Balky should not be retained, right? Yeah. And I don't know what y'all's relationship is. Like, obviously,
is he honeypotting him?
Balky must have some shit on you, dog. Because
he's blackmailing him.
Gotta be.
You gotta be blackmailing, but I doubt it. I
don't. But it has to be something. Why are you so reluctant to keeping him? I don't get it. Like, even if it's
you know the guy for 1 year.
1 year. Right, 1 year. It's a business, dog. You're a businessman. You should know, like, okay, bro, let's go cut ties with him. Especially if bringing someone like Spellman from the Vikings, who has a way better track record than Balky.
Much better.
And, like, I don't get it, dog. I mean, if Balky wants to be a part of the organization, put him as head scout or something like that, dog. I mean, like,
put him as
if he wants to be in football, cool. Put him as head scout.
Put him as a vice president of football operations.
Something like that, bro.
You have some level of power, but you're not overseeing all of the power.
But
kind of like a guy like Tom Coughlin did a couple of years ago. Even then, I still say no to Balky.
But still, like, you have a GM. You don't have Balky and David Caldwell paired together. But anyways, I mean, my thing is, bro, I think you're right, and I'm agreeing with it. I think there's so much scrutiny. There's so much embarrassment happening these last 48 days. I think Balky will be fired at the end of this year. And if not in this year, but in a few days or so, or he'll be demoted or whatever to a position in the Jaguars facility.
Yeah, and I put this out on Twitter the other day, and we'll kind of wrap up this Jags topic in 1 second. I said, here's some of the perks of hiring Byron, and obviously Twitter, you're limited on characters. You can't put everything, but I put, just what came to mind, and the tweet was like everyone was agreeing. Former QB, and he played for the Jaguars. 2-time Super Bowl winner, obviously with Tampa Bay with Tom Brady, and then also in Pittsburgh as well. Mm-hmm. Proven coaching. He was handpicked by Bruce Arians to call the plays, and he was handpicked by one of the best coaches in the NFL. He's a great leader of men. Diversity and inclusion, which as much as y'all don't want to talk about that, that's something that definitely would be another plus up, right? And I had some people get back to me, that shouldn't be a reason to hire him. Sorry, it's definitely something you got to consider. Mm-hmm. And he wants to coach in Jacksonville. How much more obvious can it be?
Yeah.
And especially during Black History Month, with everything going on right now with social justice that we've been doing the last couple of years, and now with everything going on with Brian Flores, could you tell me a better time to say, hey, let me go and hire Byron Leftwich, a black head coach, and get a black GM in here too? Yeah. I'm not saying you hire them based off this color of their skin, but their resume and the culture shock that they can bring to Jacksonville and revamp it is something you would consider along with their resume. And that would be, this is the perfect time to hire 2 African Americans for a team and a quarterback that desperately needs it. Yeah. That's where I'm at with the Jags. They're going to be, I'll say Balky will be demoted or fired by the end of this week. It's going to happen, and that's my last statement on the Jaguars.
Yeah, I mean, if somehow, some way, Balky can, because I saw like rumors of them trying to put together this immaculate staff with Vic Fangio as DC, the former interim head coach for the Raiders, Rich Bisala as the special team coach. You bring in someone like Doug Peterson. You bring in someone like Spellman. I mean, if Balky can do this, well, shit. Then I'm cool. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because this is the all-star lineup. I mean, like, this is a coaching staff that's probably one of the best in the league.
Yeah, I would approve of that, but that's not happening. Yeah,
but it's not happening that. I mean, even if Balky can bring in someone like Peterson and Spellman, you know what I'm saying? Then that's cool.
Still not enough.
But like, bro, like, job. If they tell you no, or like it's not good enough in the eyes of Shad Khan, then you got to kick rocks, dude. Yeah. This is embarrassing though, man. I'm so over this team, bro. Like, I saw something about I forget who talked about it, but like they were talking about this city has no state income tax.
Yep. Warm weather.
And
they're building all these facilities because Shad Khan's funding it.
You have an owner that's trying to turn downtown completely around. Right? You had the most money in cap. You had the future in Trevor Lawrence.
Correct. All these draft picks.
And it's not the number one destination.
But you know why? Because of one man. And it's not Shad. It's not Shad's fault. It's Trent's fault. Obviously, Shad has that ownership over him. He's the boss at the end of the day. But
I think it is his fault.
I don't really blame Shad right now unless he retained Balky, but that's still, we will see. But, everything's speculation right now. Yeah. So let's kind of quickly move on out of the Jaguars now. We're going to talk about the AFC and NFC championship game as well from what we saw. Mm-hmm. We'll start with the Chiefs. The Bengals game. almost said Patriots. I don't know why. And then with the NFC Championship game, the NFC West matchup, the Rams and the 49ers. We'll talk about that after. Let's talk about Patrick Mahomes and Joe Shiesty and Joe Burrow going in there to Arrowhead and defeating Patrick Mahomes.
We both had the Kansas City Chiefs handling business.
Yep. Getting
that rematch. But it didn't happen, man. They started out like that. I mean, it was 21-10 heading into halftime.
Yeah, at a halftime. Yeah, it was 21-3 at one point.
The biggest players of the game, man. Eli Apple making that open field tackle against Tyreek Hill before halftime. What else was a key play? I'm trying to think.
I mean, Joe Burrow had 2 huge scrambles on 3rd and 7 and 3rd
down scrambles.
In the fourth quarter to keep the drives alive.
Could have been sacked. I mean, that touchdown, that screen pass before halftime. I mean, like, there's a lot of things that jump started the Bengals. Man, shout out to them, but the Chiefs, man, was Andy Reid special. He just folded. I just don't know, man. I mean, like, I don't know what the Chiefs need to do going from here. I mean, I don't know what they need to do.
I think they need to keep. There's nothing they need to change. The only thing is just like not be so Patrick Mahomes, be a superstar Harlem Globetrotter every play. That's it.
It's kind of like the Rodgers thing. I mean, is this dude like last we talked about? This dude could be the next GOAT, and he very much well could be. But you're also looking at he might be the next Aaron Rodgers. I mean, nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Hall of Fame career.
Yeah.
MVPs.
4 straight AFC Championship games.
Aaron Rodgers won 1.
Yeah. I think Mahomes will definitely get more than 1. We'll see. We'll see. It's speculation.
But I mean, this team, their identity has to change, but they have to do something. I mean, I don't know because you can't blame on the defense. The defense played good enough to win.
Absolutely.
You can't and another thing too, you can't blame on the defense because they don't even have the personnel to even be. I know it's the NFL, right? I mean, everybody should be. If you're in that position, you should be able to play better defense. But and of course they didn't make key plays. Chris Jones missed some wide open sacks, but at the same time, dog, they got a key turnover with Darius Sneed to get the ball back to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. And what did they do? They went 3 and out. You know, the Chiefs got the ball back at the overtime, right? We about to have this whole overtime spill again. They went 3 and out. Well, I'm not 3 and out. Patrick Mahomes threw a dumb pass to Tyreek Hill, double covered. You know
that's the one I was talking about.
Yeah, that's another key play. Yeah, so it's like it's mind boggling to me. But the Chiefs, they just gotta look in the mirror next season, reevaluate some things. I guess they need to really establish a running concept on that team. They got to get a guy they can lean on. They can't lean on J.D. McKissick and Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Jerick McKinnon and I said J.D. Jerick McKinnon and Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah, I said J.D. McKissick.
I know. I think that they're fine running backs to have that 1-2 punch, but they just need to be more run oriented.
Yeah, bro. Sometimes you got to lean
more committed to the run.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, lean on it. I mean, there's times throughout the Brady time with his tenure with the Patriots where they had this high powered offense, but they were handing the ball up to James White and Sony Michel.
Yeah.
And years prior to that with
I'm losing his mind. I see
what's that? Danny Woodhead.
Yes.
Guys like that, man. I mean, you have to have a different element to your game to lean back on when your bread and butter doesn't work, right? Yeah. You have to have that running attack, man. And you look at the Bengals, man. I said they have any chance, they would have to have some type of balance on a running attack and
mixing,
or even the running backs in general. And we saw Samaje Perine had a big game.
Yeah, he did.
Joe Mixon had a decent game as well. You know what I'm saying? So Jamar Chase didn't even get that many touches for real. It was T. Higgins out there balling out. So we needed some unsung heroes to step up, like I was saying, and it happened. So shout out to the Bengals that into the Super Bowl. They got a tough matchup though.
Yeah. I mean, my takeaways from the game are relatively the same. I mean, I don't have much to say. I was just baffled that the Chiefs blew that kind of lead, considering that they're that high-powered offense. I believe Mahomes only had 58 passing yards in the second half. I think it's 58 or 68, but I think it was 58. Went 11 of 18 in the second half. I mean, just
it
2 turnovers.
Me of that game against the Chiefs and the Titans when Marcus Peters could have had that fumble recovery touchdown, but he No, it wasn't that. It was a game where Marcus Mariota had that crazy touchdown and he leaped over the pylon, the Superman one, and they won that game.
I don't remember that one.
It was in the playoffs, yeah. And the Chiefs were up that game too.
I remember what game you're talking about. I don't remember that moment. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It just it's unthinkable because I think Patrick Mahomes was the consensus best quarterback, and I'm not trying to be recency bias. Joe Burrow might be the best quarterback in the NFL, but I'm not going to be recency biased. I'm still going to give that nod to a guy like Patrick Mahomes. I still think Mahomes is still the best quarterback, but I think there's a conversation.
He has the it factor, man.
He has definitely a conversation. It's not completely closed off. Nobody would say Lamar's the best. Nobody would say Josh Allen.
You can make an argument for him.
I think you make an argument. Let's just put it like that. I would make the argument for Joe Burrow.
If Trevor Lawrence was doing this, I'll be lying my ass off.
I'd be lying. I'd be lying to you.
That's bias of us. So I'm gonna be real.
Yeah, I would too.
I'm be real. So
once we get some weapons and Byron in here, but let's go on to the NFC Championship game. 49ers and the LA Rams. Jimmy G and them came up short, 17-20. Matthew Stafford and Eminem are going to the Super Bowl. That's the closest Detroit Lions are going to get in a very long time. So
probably ever.
Yeah, ever. All jokes aside, man, we feel for you Lions fans. We're Jags fans. Talk to me.
Man, Tart dropped the money. The safety.
Oh, my God.
The 49ers were playing like they were in regular season, man. They were playing great defense, good enough on offense. Jimmy Garoppolo making some big-time throws. They should have won that game. If Tart catches the interception, I'm pretty sure they win that game.
They win that game.
It's 9 minutes left. I get that, but we talked about it in podcasts before. The way Kyle Shanahan calls games and the way his concepts are and stuff like that, the way he managed the clock, they would never got that ball back till at least about 4 minutes left on the clock. You know what I'm saying?
They were horrible running the ball, though. Yeah. They didn't even have 80 yards rushing. They had 60 yards rushing the entire game.
But I feel like giving opportunities like that, I mean, it just adds more into the point. And then also you have that, because I'm not gonna lie, I mean, we saw last week or prior to the Rams possibly collapsing.
Yeah,
they have I feel like they have a weak mindset in a sense. You know, if the Rams threw an interception right there, I think it's kind of started panicking.
It would have been done. Yeah,
it'd have been panicking.
Matthew Stafford's religiously, and I don't care if he's in the Rams, he's religiously always giving the other team an opportunity to come back with either. He should have thrown that should have been an interception, or he does throw an interception or a pick six. There's going to be one or two Matthew Stafford throws a game, no matter what, that defense has an opportunity to capitalize on.
And that was the one. They missed it. And when you're on the road in the playoffs, dog, you can't miss up on opportunities. You know what I'm saying?
Basically a home game for him.
Yeah.
But
when you're on the road, bro, you can't do that. So, shout out to the Rams for going to the Super Bowl. I mean, you have a tale of two teams. I said it on Twitter. You have a team that bought their way into the championship, and you have a team that drafted and scouted and
built their team,
built a team to championship. So
good for them, man. I think Kyle Shanahan's a great coach, and we'll do our Super Bowl picks next week in the podcast, just because this week's the Pro Bowl. We won't spoil that for y'all right now, but we're gonna talk about Brady's retirement, man. The GOAT is done, man, or at least it appears to be. He announced his retirement on Instagram just a couple of days ago, and I'm not gonna lie, I definitely got a little emotional, man, because I mean, as much as 99% of NFL fans hate Tom Brady that aren't, Patriot fans or Buccaneers fans. It's damn, bro. We grew up watching the greatest quarterback of all time dominate our era of football. Him, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers, Big Ben, and then Rodgers is the last of them of our era of growing up watching that dominance of quarterback football. And obviously Brady's the GOAT.
You want to know what's crazy?
Man, it sucks.
His retirement didn't really affect me like that.
It hit me. I'm like,
I'm not gonna lie, bro. For some reason, and I said this on my to my friends. I was like, bro, it doesn't hit me like when Matt Stafford and Russell Wilson and when Cam Newton they hang it up. I think it's gonna affect me more because it's gonna really let me know damn, I'm getting older for real. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So, I mean, shout out to the GOAT, man. Phenomenal career. Something we'll probably never see again.
Yeah, and I mean, that's really all I had to say about it. Shout out to my boy AMAC. He was actually, he's a diehard Jags fan, one of my boys. But he was in Tampa when they won the Super Bowl. They were the first team to not only go to the Super Bowl in their home stadium, but they also won it versus the Chiefs. And, I saw the videos of downtown Tampa and people all over Tampa just celebrating and partying. They won the Super Bowl in their own city, and he was there. And, I can't imagine, even though I'm not a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, just that would be something awesome just to be a part of, being in the city and whatnot. So I thought that was awesome, man. But the last thing we're going to wrap up with is we're going to talk about the greatest athlete of all time. Me and him haven't discussed this really, so this is our first time hearing each other's thoughts. I'm going to talk about individual, who is the greatest individual athlete just in terms of their accomplishments and whatnot, even if they're in a team sport, and then also the greatest just athlete in terms of iconic and and accomplishments on top of everything. So I want to hear your thoughts first. Who do you think is the greatest athlete of all time, male or female? in terms of team accomplishments, individual accomplishments, you tell me.
All right, so I'm gonna give you this. I made a video about it on my TikTok, and there's a list of guys, women and men, they have on here, right? So the greatest athlete of all time, they have Brady, Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali, Tiger Woods, Serena Williams, Michael Phelps, Usain Bolt. I'm assuming that, I don't know what soccer player that is.
That's Cristiano Ronaldo.
So Ronaldo, Babe Ruth, Wayne Gretzky, oh my goodness, Simone Biles, and I know who this dude is, man. I'm having a brain fart.
Messi.
Yeah, Messi. So those are the guys.
I'm surprised they don't have Pele in there too. He's one of the greatest soccer players ever.
Yeah. Forgive me, soccer folks out there. I don't know soccer like that at all.
I know soccer.
But yeah, like they have those people on here, and great. They didn't specify that it's actually the greatest athlete. For me, I said I think you can make a very strong case for Serena Williams, only because of like her accomplishments, what she's done for the game of tennis, for women in general.
Yeah.
I mean, like, she's an icon. I mean, to the tennis world. I mean, like, her, you know how many trophies this woman has? You know what I'm saying? Like, her Nike endorsements. I'm pretty sure she's one of the highest paid athletes in Nike.
Damn dog barking.
Yeah, it's
not my dog.
The highest paid, one of the highest paid Nike athletes of all time.
Yeah.
And she's amazing, dog. She's ridiculous. So, but you can make a lot of cases. I mean, like Tiger Woods probably up there too, second. Yeah. When it comes to individual, Michael Phelps, Usain Bolt. I mean, Usain Bolt's the fastest man in the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and he's so far ahead of everyone.
Yeah, yeah. So but go ahead, give me yours.
So Serena.
Yeah, I got Serena. So who would you say your individual?
So I want to say real quickly, Serena is the greatest female athlete I've ever seen in my lifetime. Now Simone Biles, thank you. Phenomenal. I loved watching her the last couple of years in the Olympics and everything. She's great. You know, I think but Vanessa's on a different level. Serena, geez, not Vanessa.
Vanessa's a dog too.
Vanessa's a dog too, but I got her sister mixed up. Yeah. Serena Williams is the greatest female athlete I've ever seen in my lifetime. But I think the greatest athlete of all time, when we talk about like just accomplishments, it's got to be Brady for me, right? Now I'm not okay. If we're just now. I'll say who my second GOAT is in terms of like I said, like the iconic and then in terms of accomplishments and everything too. But I think if we're just talking individual accomplishments, I say it's Tom Brady over Michael Phelps, who's far ahead of everyone in terms of swimming and Olympic gold medals. Usain Bolt, who's clearly far ahead of everyone in terms of track. Michael Jordan, Messi, Pele, you name it, right? Mm-hmm. Because winning a Super Bowl in the 7 Super Bowls that he has, and he's been to what, 10 or 11? I think he's been to 11.
Mm-hmm. Never had a losing season.
Yep. Speaks volume because in football you are so reliant on other people doing their job and not messing up. And then you could use that argument against me and say like, okay, well then that means his other players and teammates and coaches did what they were supposed to do every snap. And yes, that makes sense. But Tom Brady, no matter where he went, and he proved it even without Bill Belichick, he can go and win and take a team to the promised land. Winning 7 Super Bowls, we will probably never see that again in our lifetime. Mm-hmm. It is so
individual player.
Yeah, you will. It is so hard to win in football. Mm-hmm. Hell, it's hard to even win a game in football. Coaches and players will tell you that. And to go to 7 Super Bowls and to have almost every passing record, and I think he does. Mm-hmm. Just you cannot make that stuff up. I think in terms of just accomplishments, he is, because you have a bad half, you have a bad quarter, you have a bad off day, you're going home in football. You are one of them. You can have a bad half in basketball in a 7-game series, but we saw Patrick Mahomes. You have a bad half,
going home.
They went home. You know, and as unfair as that may be, and I'm not saying this from a football bias, I'm telling you, I just think that how difficult it is to win in the sport of football, and that is the most difficult position in all of sports, being a quarterback in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Tom Brady is the greatest athlete in terms of accomplishments in my eyes. Now let's go into, though, like, who do you think the greatest, like, athlete, and it could be Serena for you still, like, just athlete in terms of accomplishments, whether it was individual sport or team sport, on top of legacy, iconic, you name it. It could be whatever.
Yeah.
Because I have a different answer than Tom Brady for that.
I would say I have 2. It's like 1A and 1B for me. I will have 1A, I will have Michael Jordan. Only because, like, another thing, going back to what you said about Tom Brady, we're really going to see if his legacy, not legacy, but like his GOAT status in football stands the test of time, because we've never seen a GOAT in football. We've seen like
great players like
Deion and stuff like that,
Lawrence Taylor,
but we've
Michael
never seen
Strahan,
the GOAT, right? Championships, accolades, records, and stuff like that. So we're going to see if that's in the test of time in like 20 years from now. People are still talking about this, you know what I'm saying? Because no one talks about previous quarterbacks. There's always a mix of guys.
Yeah. So it was like Dan Marino, Joe Montana, Aaron Rodgers,
Steve Young,
Drew Brees, yada yada.
Yeah. It's like, it's always a mix of guys. But we'll see. Like, I'm pretty sure it will. But like, then you really get to test to see like, okay, this guy was really that dude.
Yeah.
Okay. But when it comes to like what you said about like greatest athlete of all time, when it comes to like iconic and stuff like that, what they've done, it has to be Michael Jordan is number one because he literally changed sports. I mean, like globally. I mean, like he literally brought like basketball overseas when they had the USA tour. I think a lot of people have seen that with the Dream Team special. Like he's the reason why, like, you know, the NBA became such a like a global icon. You know, so that's where you got guys like Giannis, Luka, Rudy, Tony Parker, Dirk.
Nowitzki,
you know what I'm saying? Those are all like effects of the Michael Jordan era. I mean, like he literally changed the game. He's done like when it comes to his fashion, you know, his shoes and stuff like that.
Those are it. Yeah,
those are it. I mean, players grew up and say, I mean, I want to be like Mike. LeBron says it. I want to be like Mike. I want to be like Mike or Magic. You know what I'm saying? Allen Iverson. Kobe Bryant. I mean, Kobe Bryant was a spitting image of Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's crazy to see stuff like that. So I think he's definitely. I think regardless of what happens with Tom Brady in 30 years from now, I think Jordan will still be the greatest athlete.
I do too.
Of all time.
I don't think that'll ever change
because it's just like what he's done for the sports in general, bro. Like he just changed like the landscape of how we view things. Because before him, I wouldn't really say the NFL because my history for the NFL is not as big, but I have some good history for the NBA, and the NBA was kind of like not dying, but they were holding on to this Larry Bird and Magic Johnson rivalry, right? Yeah. Then before that, you had the Wilt Chamberlain,
Bill Russell.
And you got guys like him that are still being talked about because of how crazy of an athlete he was. He's another one that could be considered a GOAT, like third or
Pistol
fourth.
Pete. You had a lot of great players like that.
You know what I'm saying? So, I think Jordan's that dude. And then, him too. And then you have my 1B will probably Tiger Woods. I mean, only because of like he changed golf. I mean, there was no black
popularized.
There was no black people in golf to that standard, right? Young guy coming in, win the Masters at a young age like that, win all these championships, changing the way golfers approach the game of golf. Like he brought weight training to golf. You know what I'm saying? Golfers weren't lifting weights. Some of you guys had like someone like Phil Mickelson at age. He was like just a talented guy, God-given talent, a big boy. You know what I'm saying? Like a regular frat dude. Arnold Palmer. Same way, like he wasn't like some like doing all this and all that. He was just a regular golfer. But Tiger Woods brought in that swagger, the weight training stuff like that. That's where you got a lot of guys being in shape now to be golfers. You know what I'm saying? It's like how powerful he was with his swing and stuff like that. I mean, like guys like me that never watched golf. Always tune in and watch Tiger Woods. My granddad did. My family did. Video games. You know what I'm saying? Nike. They got in golf, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, he's definitely up there as well. Yeah, so even though it was so bad that it had to, put an emphasis on his character. You know, he got in trouble for cheating on his wife.
Literally,
like that's none of our business.
That also, like, as a black man, that's also going to be held against you too, though.
Yeah, I mean, but that's you're penalizing for something that his wife should be doing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Who cares if he out there has like women? I mean, it's fucking Tiger Woods. I mean, like, exactly. Bro, like, we've seen documentaries. I mean, like, this dude, he's the biggest icon in sports, one of the richest sports, I mean, the people in sports in general. Like, who
I'm
gives
glad he got back from that surgery.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad he's got back from that surgery, the accident he had. But like, that really almost destroyed his career, but he was able to bounce back and still win from there. But if it wasn't for that, I think Tiger would be over Michael.
Yeah. So mine is like 1A, 1B, 2. I really can't decide. So it's between Michael for all the reasons you said, from accomplishment to globalizing the game to being an iconic figure. And the Jordan brand will forever be the hot thing. That was always going to be the thing. And Jordan, for all those reasons, to me is like 1A, but 1B is Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps, and I mean, you could definitely make the conversation, and I think Ronaldo's my soccer GOAT, but you make the conversation for guys like Messi and how popular, the sport of soccer is across the globe. It's obviously the most played and popularized sport. But I think, right, yeah, but the reason I give Michael Phelps is because he's so massively ahead of any other swimmer. And it's the same thing with a guy like Usain Bolt too, right? Like there's Usain Bolt and everybody else. And like what we said with Tom Brady, there's Tom Brady and then there's every other quarterback. They're not even close.
Kind of.
And that's not in my eyes. But but that's how I feel about a guy with like Michael Phelps, who we watched growing up in the Olympics, dominating every single year. I think he still holds the world record for the most gold medals. I could be wrong. Don't quote me, but I think he does. And especially the sport of swimming, I think he could be the greatest, like, just pure athlete of all time. But I'm going to give it to Michael in terms of the athlete, the legacy, the icon that he is, and the way he globalized the brand in the game of basketball. I mean, we wouldn't know basketball the way it is today without him, and a lot of these guys, too. Because there would have never been a Kobe. There would have never been the type of mindset and player that LeBron is, and Steph, and just spitting images that want to be like Kobe and want to be like Michael, because Michael made it like that,
Yeah.
But any last words you got on that? Though?
What'd you just say? Oh my goodness, man!
About Messi or Michael?
It was about oh my goodness,
Phelps.
Yes. They tried to assassinate his character too with the whole weed situation. But,
I know.
Anyways, but bro, I saw something the other day and like, stay out the weed, Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah.
I don't really care for him no more. You still a fan of Stephen A. Smith?
Not as much as I did when he had Max Kellerman, because Max Kellerman's a phenomenal guy. Love that man to death. I will run through a brick wall for Max Kellerman.
Yeah.
I'm more of a Shannon, Skip Bayless undisputed kind of guy.
I can't stand that no more. Yeah.
But I still respect Stephen A. a lot. Mm-hmm. Have I fallen off with him as a entertainer and as a sports journalist?
Yeah.
To an extent, yes, I have. Yeah. There's a lot of times I'm tired of him. But Stephen A., I still respect him and his integrity and what he had to do as a black man to get to where he is.
Yeah.
He's an anomaly, too. Let's just be honest.
He's a GOAT.
He's an iconic sports figure in this world.
He is.
And he almost died from COVID last month.
Oh, really?
And yeah, bro.
It was that bad?
Dude, he was hospitalized for like 3 weeks, bro.
I didn't hear nothing about that.
He was on a okay, that's a whole other story. But yes, glad he's safe and okay.
Down Stephen A. guy.
No, it's okay.
Look,
Stephen A. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's an iconic figure that's been in the game for almost 30 years in our entire lifetime.
Yeah.
Go ahead though.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to Stephen A. He's an icon, but he's just like I can't say none of those sports shows anymore. But anyways, I was speaking on Phelps.
There you go.
And like. Someone brought it up recently, and they didn't mention Michael Phelps, but like that name Michael, bro, is like that's like one of the greatest names of all time.
It is.
Like you have Michael Jordan, you have associated names. You have Michael Jordan, Mike Tyson, Michael Phelps.
Wow.
You have a lot. There's other Michaels out there too.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of other Michaels out there.
Michael Kors, I'm just playing, but
Mike Sims Walker.
Yeah, but it's like there's a lot of
Michael Thomas.
There's a lot of like that's a powerful name, man. There's a lot of like. You look at all of like the powerful figures in this world, man. I mean, they're all at least about the top 10 are named Michael. So it's pretty crazy.
It is crazy, man.
That was just a random thought I had.
No, that's good, bro. But dude, this was a great
it was
episode,
great,
man. I'm glad we got a lot of good stuff out. Especially talking about some racial issues going on with Brian Flores in the NFL. Obviously, we talked about the Jaguars and how pitiful and emotional of a disaster that team is right now. Talked about the NFL a little bit with the championship games, the GOAT retiring. Still shout out to Tom Brady and the greatest athlete of all time, man. Great episode. If you guys haven't already, if you guys are seeing this on video, on TikTok, on YouTube, wherever that you guys are seeing this at, make sure you guys drop a like if you guys did enjoy this content. Go follow my guy Chill Takes on TikTok and on Instagram at Chill Takes. I've got it down below as well if you guys are seeing this on video. And my name, Brett James. You guys can go follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at TheBrettJames1. I'm very active on there every single day. And you guys can find this podcast, if you guys are hearing this through audio, on YouTube. You guys can find this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, and on Google Podcasts as well. So it's readily available wherever you guys are, and it's accessible for everybody. So thank you guys for tuning in for another episode of the Don't Overthink It podcast, and we'll catch you guys next week. Thank you.